So we've all been there before. We're having a nice conversation with somebody that we just met and bam, we run out of things to say. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to be social with one simple trick to give you endless conversation. That's right, we said endless conversation. Make sure you stick to the end so that you find out my 3 rules to having a good conversation. What is up, everyone? My name is Jacob, if you don't already know, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Take 2 Living, where it is all about living a better life. And a part of living a better life is being more social. After all, being social gets you more friends, it gets you a significant other that you love, and it helps you create the connections you need to build your life up to the place where you want it. So, when it comes to being social, there's only one trick you need to know to create endless conversation. And the nice thing about creating endless conversation is it allows you to connect and build a relationship with the person you are talking to. So what is this magical secret that allows you to create endless conversation and make friends everywhere that you go? Well, it's quite simple. It's called the chain of association. This is where we build off of what somebody else says or off of what we say based off of the words that they use. So for example, if someone tells us that they love the fall season, they've just given us 3 different subjects to talk about. We can talk about love. We can talk about what we love. We can talk about love in general. Oh, love, beautiful, amazing, romantic, yes. We can also talk about fall. We can talk about the fall season in general, our favorite things in fall, our favorite sports in fall. We can talk about falling in general, like falling off a cliff or being afraid of falling, which brings us into being afraid of heights. We can also talk about the fall season or seasons in general, because they said season, so we're going to connect to that word season as well. So we can talk about any season, we can talk about our favorite season, we can talk about our least favorite season. But as you can see, just using the words that the person we are talking to is using, we can build an endless thread of conversation. And you can continue to build off of what they say. If the conversation runs stagnant, ask them another open-ended question that can lead you to another realm of chains of association. You can also build this off of what you say. So if I start talking about plants, I can start talking about how I love plants because they're the color green. And then I can start talking about how green is my favorite color. And I can also say why I love green. I can open it up to a whole nother thread of conversation. Now, don't be afraid if these things start to build off into a completely new tangent. That's totally fine as long as you're connecting to what that person is saying based off of the words that they are using. You can have that endless conversation and the skills to create that endless conversation. Now, when it comes to this, you need to practice. And guess what? You don't need anyone to practice this. However, I do recommend that you get out into the world and that you be social with people, because after all, that is exactly what we are trying to do. So, what I'm going to ask all of you to do is find an object in your house to use to create this chain of association and an endless conversation with yourself. I am going to use this thing right here. That's right, I'm going to use my dog, Ray. But we're going to use her to create our endless thread of conversation. Now remember, you can use any object in your house, so don't be afraid to use a pop can or a colored pencil or whatever's within arm's reach. So here we go. This is how you practice the chain of association. I recommend that you do this for at least 10 minutes. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to do a couple of seconds so that you guys get a good idea of how the chain of association works. Hello, Ray. That's your name, right? Is Ray? That's a really good name. I really love your color. You're brown. Brown is a really good color. Most people don't like brown because it's associated with like the color poo. It's the color of poo, but it's also the color of dirt. And dirt is really good because dirt allows us to plant things. It allows us to build things. It's the foundational thing to the world. And what's more important than having a very good foundation? I mean, when you have a good foundation, you can build skyscrapers all the way up into the sky, and then you can skydive off of those skyscrapers. And what's better than skydiving? It gives you that amazing adrenaline rush where you're flying through the air. If you're afraid of heights, I don't recommend doing it, but it can help you get over your fear of heights, and getting over your fear of anything helps you grow as a person. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to try skydiving if you're trying to get over your fears of falling or fears of height. You know, it's the same thing with being social. You have to go out and you have to talk to people. Even though you're afraid of people, you have to get in there and prove yourself wrong, that people aren't really that scary, and you have to talk to them and use this thing called the chain of association to create an endless thread of conversation for the people that you're talking to, so that they become your friends and they love you and they give you cool things. So, as you can see, using this method, you can build an endless thread of conversation with yourself. And what is better than being able to talk to yourself for endless hours? Really, really kind of weird. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do that, and they're in this thing called insane asylums. So make sure that you practice this with an object in your house, with a person within your vicinity. Use this to create this endless thread of conversation. I promise you, you will find how easy it is to be social. And the best part about all of this is that it teaches you how to listen to others, which is the most important skill to have when you're talking to somebody, because when it comes to building a better self and a better world, you must first seek to understand, then to be understood. So this brings us into the final portion of this video, where I'm going to give you the 3 cardinal rules to having good conversation. Now, the first rule is never talk about dark subjects. This could be anything like murder, death, suicide, the apocalypse, zombies. Don't talk about dark subjects. It leaves a really bad taste in your mouth and a bad impression for the other person. We're trying to make friends here, so we're not going to talk about those dark, gross things. The next thing that we never talk about is politics. This should be assumed, but people still seem to be wanting to talk about politics. If there's one way you can ruin your day and somebody else's day, just talk about politics. Because guess what? Nobody ever feels good talking about politics. So avoid talking about politics. And the last thing that we want to avoid talking about is religion. Religion is a lot like politics. We don't really want to bring this up. We don't want to talk about these things. We want to keep it as light as possible while getting to know the person that we are speaking with. Now remember, when it comes to all of this, we are sharing information with each other and building off of that to create this thing called a relationship. And doing this will help you live a better life, because what's better than having multiple people who enjoy your company? I don't care how much of an introvert you are, please use this skill. For myself, I was an introvert. I've used this method. It's completely turned my life around, and I've actually created the dream life that I've always wanted, with the people in it that I actually enjoy. So, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed this subject. If you want to hear more about this, please comment down below and let me know anything that you are struggling with socially. Also, I'm going to ask you this question now. What was the object you used to practice the chain of association? And finally, subscribe to my channel. I enjoy all the support. Make sure you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so that you're notified every time I put out awesome content like this. Now, if you like, subscribe to the video and hit the notification bell. You're going to be very aware whenever I put out content, especially free tutorials on how to live a better life. This is Jacob with Take to Living, signing out.